Hello there. So, this is another episode of Anything and Everything, and I'll be talking about my ideal retirement. So, again, Anything and Everything is a series for random thoughts that I get that I'd like to share with my audience or my viewers. Just some thoughts that I'd like to share. Probably there could be some life lessons there along the way, based on my experiences as well and my perception of things like that. So, ideal retirement. I think this would depend on the type of person you are and, essentially the things that you want in life. And it would also factor in your current situation, your current condition, and your personality. So, as a highly introverted person, most of the time I'd like to be left alone. I like to do things my own way and essentially not interacting much with other people. And so my ideal retirement is currently, this is what it looks like for me, given how I've recently gotten interested in gardening. So I'm thinking I'd like to probably live in a farm later on and essentially just live a very simple life. I like to be in touch with nature. I like being in nature in such that, fresh air, trees, the smell of grass, and all that, away from the noise of the city, the pollution, the hustle and the bustle. Essentially, I'd like to have a stress-free environment, and I do know that it's kind of difficult to attain, especially when you're at the working age, where most of the time you're supposed to go and find a job, be employed somewhere, or could also be, self-employed, do a business, and still you have to find a good location where you're going to meet a lot of customers. But again, for my personality type and, the things I'd like to do for myself, essentially I probably want to have a farm where I can plant vegetables and essentially live a very simple life, a very quiet life, stress-free, away from the, what do you call this, away from all the noise, essentially. And then probably do my passion projects, writing stories, writing books, probably a nonfiction later on. And then I'd also like to, write stories for Bible studies, Sunday school for the kids. And then, well, we're going to continue. I would also like to continue creating discussions, what do you call this? Video lectures related to accounting and business subjects. Essentially, since this has been the field I've gone to, and I've learned a lot over the years, 4 years in college, 4 years for my master degrees, and later on, I'll probably take a doctorate degree if the scholarship will be granted. So, uh, I've already spent a lot of time studying and, essentially, what do you call this? Getting a lot of knowledge, getting a lot of stock knowledge in there that I'd like to share to other people as well, especially students, the youngsters, the younger ones, the youth. And one way of doing that would be sharing stuff on different mediums, mostly online. So we have the website and we have this channel for it. And, on the side, that's what I'm planning to do with my life during retirement. And essentially, I also want to retire very early, probably age 40, hopefully. All right. And then what I'd like to do is, of course, live in a farm, do gardening, do farming stuff. Maybe, if I can probably run some sort of farm accommodation, just for people who would also like to get away from city life and have some peace and quiet time. So some sort of probably a small resort or something, just a farmhouse, something like that. And then during that time, what do you call this? Write on my spare time, write the fiction, non-fiction, the stories for Bible studies, and the stories for the kids in Sunday school, and then um, What else? Create more lecture videos on business and accounting related topics, and then also join church activities, soul winning, visiting churches and stuff like that. Okay, so essentially that's what I like to do, and of course, I'm not really going to be alone in the farm. Of course, probably bring my family with me, and basically that's it. Maybe live with the dogs and the cats, live with our pets and things like that. Okay, so again, this is just for me, and I'd say this most of the time we feel that we don't have a choice on what we're going to do with our lives, but sometimes it's also a matter of going against the flow. Again, somehow we are influenced by the system. We went to school with the intention, or we were somehow taught that when we graduate, we're supposed to become employees, find jobs probably in the government or in private entities, but to work very hard, and if possible, then of course to have our own businesses. But in a way that's not emphasized very much during college years, during school. And so what do you call this? Not a lot of people could get away from that mindset that that's the direction that we're going to take. And so there are very few people who are thinking of, choosing a different path, choosing different ways. In a way, it's outside the comfort zone. These are things that we were probably not thought of during school, and so we have to learn these things on our own. We have to do our own research. We have to research this stuff. What do you call this? Find ways on how we can achieve it. Make a career path on our own. Make our own, get our own direction towards that goal and into achieving that. And so, yes, it's kind of hard and difficult. It's ideal, it's a good one, but sometimes it would be hard to sustain because, of course, if you want to retire at an early age, you have to be prepared financially. So you have to have investments, businesses that are earning you some sort of passive income, or in a way, earning you some revenue so that you can support yourself when you stop working and you just do things that you'd like to do. So it's hard, especially if you also have a family to support or other people who are relying on you for financial help. So there's that to consider, and in a way it still boils down to preparation. So I still have more than a decade to prepare for that kind of retirement that I want. And so is everyone else. And I know that, we have different situations. Others probably have it worse than me, so there is that. But in a way, if there's, what did I say? If there's a will, there's a way. But again, sometimes we need godly intervention for that no matter how much we want it, if it's not for us, then it's probably not going to happen. We're probably not going to have it. And so we have to ensure that we're on the right path, or we're doing what we're supposed to do. And yes, kind of somehow difficult to explain, but essentially it all still boils down to preparation and having determination and knowing exactly what you want, not what other people want, and not being influenced by others, and knowing exactly what you're doing and knowing exactly for what reason you're doing it and why you want to achieve it. Okay, so essentially you have your root why and the very reason why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so we have that. What else? So again, this is anything and everything, so I'm just throwing off whatever ideas I have in my head. If you notice, this is essentially not edited. And I've been brewing the thoughts for a while. I've been thinking about this topic for a few days and what, certain things that I'd like to say. So there is that. I think that's my favorite phrase, there is that. Uh-huh. What else? So I think this is it for now, and in the coming days, I'll probably start a new notebook, a new dream notebook or goal notebook, whatever you want to call it. And you're just going to have to put it in a timeline. How many years I still have before age 40, and what do I want to achieve in all that time? When do I, what are the preparatory stage? What are the milestones? What do I need to have at a certain age for me to ensure that, I'll be having that some sort of, farm when I retire at age 40? What kind of investment savings? What kind of ways can I do? What kind of, ways to earn, to have passive source of income so that I can support that kind of lifestyle when I retire at the age of 40. Hopefully. But essentially, retirement does not equate to not working. You still work, but the work that you do are the things that you want to do, enjoy doing, and what you feel is your purpose in life. So essentially, for me, it's going to be writing, being in touch with nature, and joining church activities, ministry activities still. So anyway, of course, ministry work, there's charity in there. So I'd also like to get involved in some sort of charitable activities, helping the needy, and I'm going to get into the details of that. I'm still in the planning stage, but essentially that's what I'd like to achieve in my